All right, guys, so Diablo 4 just got a new update, but why did they do this? Hell, I don't know. Let's find out together.
So yes, it's a new day, so we've got some more Diablo 4 updates, including new dev responses about the Occultist and future changes in seasons. A new patch just disabled some crucial aspects, which means the weapon you might be using right now could actually be worthless, and potential new improvements coming to the PvP shop and Necromancer, and yes,
I have yet to even look at the PvP shop. I should test it out eventually.
some excellent tips on getting through those pesky slay all enemies type dungeons. Plus, this one adjustment.
So I've heard about, before we get too far into this, I've heard that there's like a trick with the slay all, and it's that you can leave some stragglers behind, and the game will force teleport them to you in further packs. So if there's like a handful of them that you leave behind, don't worry about it. The game will force teleport them to you. So that's good. It would be better if they just put like, instead of kill all, it'd be better if it was just like kill 90%, but whatever works. When did they change that? Has that been something that's been changed? Because I haven't noticed it yet. It's been like that the whole time. Man, I've left some that you know what? It does it at the front door. That makes sense because we did this the other day and I think I had like Time Tell or somebody with me. And like there were no monsters by him whatsoever. Like he walked off and like stood in a corner and I was doing a kill all and he just ended up dead and I wondered how, and it must have teleported the monsters to him. That makes sense. It's better than nothing though. It's a better system than no system. I didn't know that was a full thing though.
It could kill the game. We've got to talk about it. Let's just happen. An important Diablo 3 feature needs to make it into Diablo 4. Here's why. But yeah, let's get straight.
There's a bunch of features from tons of games that need to make their way into Diablo 4. Whether they will or not is questionable at best, but there's definitely a good majority of quality of life things that need to be added.
All right, so we got a good question here about the Occultist, and it looks like it's going to be adjusted in the future. So this can't be intentional on alt characters, can it? My main has completed damn near every dungeon. Because the codexes are already learned, beating them on my alt does nothing. So I have to wait till 25 to use the Occultist. And if we scroll down here, the response is this right here from Rod Ferguson. But we have a reply here from Sugar Princess Fluff, who says, so weird that requirement even exists since you can start getting aspects at level 1. And Rod Ferguson says, yeah, we're aware this is not ideal, likely addressed in a future season.
This needs to be addressed before season 1. This made sense when like you first start your first campaign character. But if you click on skip campaign, it should automatically unlock all of that. All of that should be automatically unlocked, including the ability to craft nightmare sigils and everything. It all needs to be unlocked. Once you click on that start like skip campaign button, all that shit needs to be unlocked. It's dumb that it's not. And it should be like a 30-second patch that needs to be implemented before season 1.
If you have a dungeon not completed for the first time, I think that might unlock them. So yes, that's also true. The more you know. But yeah, it looks like they're going to be adjusting how you actually access the Occultist in the game going forward. Perhaps introduced, I would say, season 2, because remember, again, they said that it takes time to do any adjustments with seasons. Season 1 right now is in heavy development. They're so far along, so any update.
Season 1's done. It's not in development. Season 1 is done. Season 2 is being finalized. Season 3 is being started. But something that is as simple and as crucial as being able to access core mechanics of the game on alternate characters should be a high priority fix that needs to be done before the first season. It just needs to be done.
Dates would most likely come to season 2. At least that's kind of the theory according to Blizzard's previous statements when it comes to like major changes and stuff like that. Now, let's get into...
It's not a major change. A major change would be implementing an entire new system. You're not implementing a system. You're literally just removing a flag from your character. That should be a season 1 fix.
More questions, shall we? Drew says this: would it be possible to add a preview option for the horse and player cosmetics at the PvP shops? It's kind of hard to tell what they would look like in the little thumbnails. That's a great point. Adam Fletcher says, we'll make note to the team that handles these. Yeah, they need more feedback with what the player is actually...
Now see, that probably a season 2 fix. But that'll probably be added season 1, and the other shit will still be broken.
Going to be purchasing at the PvP shop. I totally agree on that one. Now, what about the Necromancer? So check it out. It says right here, I really like my Necromancer, but I'd also like to see what I'm doing. Would it be possible to do something about this shadow pool effect from corpse explosion? As you can see, you could practically see nothing, and I have noticed this in bigger events as well. Rod Ferguson says, yep, we're aware, not as simple as a hotfix, so we'll need some time to...
So in this bug here, like this visual bug or whatever, I understand that it's a complicated fix and it probably has a lot to do with lighting and shadows and a lot to do with their engine. Can you not just disable the visual effect? You should be able to go into the skill like in the code or whatever, and there should be like where it says like skill procs here, goes to this location, does damage based on characters in tile set within so much range, ignore non-walk areas, do not target friendly players, and then down bottom it should say play graphical like GFX effect 5. Can you not just like turn that part off? Like just like double star that out to where it just doesn't work? Like couldn't you do that? And then just be like, hey, this still works, but there is no graphic for it right now because it is literally so disruptive to the game. And it would be better to have no graphic than the one that you literally can't play the game with.
To address, I cannot wait for that to be patched because it is just like you can't see anything. You can't see the beautiful artwork. Sometimes you're facing like, and you can't see anything. So I'm really hoping that they get that fixed in like the next upcoming patch. That sure would be nice. All right, so mentioning patches, we have this one right here. A new patch did go live. You probably missed it. It says fix an issue where Necromancer players would sometimes be stuck at the character selection screen. They also fix an issue where control inputs would stop responding when a player teleports.
The joke thing, kind of like Barrels in Detail. I'll have to check it out. We'll have to check it out here in a minute.
Dungeon. And they fix a graphical issue where black textures would flash after teleporting into specific towns.
I've seen that like graphical thing before. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's definitely disruptive, like for immersion, but there are definitely better things they could have worked on, like fixing the necro bug.
We've seen these weird oddities. They should be pretty much fixed for the most part, so that's really, really good news. Also, we have this post right here, some really good tips about clearing out those pesky kill all enemies dungeons. So you guys know the type of dungeon. So let's go ahead and read over that one, shall we? It says this right here. PSA. Slay all enemies is easy and fast if you ignore the stragglers. This has 1,700 upvotes, so I think it was really helpful to a lot of people. It says this, counterintuitive, right? If you ignored straggler clearing the den of evil, you were gonna be there all night. But the enemy horde approaches mechanic is actually all those stragglers teleporting to you whenever you hit a big pack, sometimes multiple times per dungeon floor. So, tested it around 10 times now, just blasting past stragglers and only taking a big chunk out of every large pack elite group. Sure enough, once I hit the last big pack in the dungeon, a final horde approaches with all the remaining monsters. Easy cleanup as they're all on the screen counting down to 0. This makes the objective fun and fast, but only if you play it opposite of the way you expect the need to play it. Cool. So there you go. The more you know.
Yep. So we were talking about this earlier in the video, and we've had several of our community members kind of test the same thing. So pretty much kill the bulk of everything. Don't worry about stopping to kill all the little stragglers, and they will be teleported to you, and then you'll be able to clear the dungeon quicker that way. That actually makes kill all one of the faster sort of dungeon clears that you can do.
Great, easy way to clear those annoying slay all enemies dungeons, and I think it would make it a lot more fun and a lot quicker for you guys to earn that experience and look out for drops.
So I do still maintain that clear alls shouldn't be clear alls, and it should be like clear 90% and not have to worry about everything teleporting to you, because it would be less immersive breaking and it would be 10 times easier. Just like clear 90% of everything in the dungeon and then move on.
All right, so mentioning drops, check it out. This could actually ruin the game if Blizzard adjusts drops. Right now, I think drops are perfect, but yeah, there are some people that are vocal that are saying like, where is everything? So let's go to Reddit, shall we? It says people crying about low drop rates for rare uniques will kill the game. The devs listen to them and buff drop rates for things like Grandfather and Jacko. The D2 aspect about farming for cool items will be destroyed, and people who want to spend more hours in the game will no longer have any incentive to keep playing. There is a reason why Diablo 2 had such longevity. A huge part of it was the fact it had items that were exceedingly rare. Please, it is okay if you as a player do not have every single item in the game handed to you on a platter. So yeah, I agree. I think it just makes it so much immensely more rewarding when that super rare unique finally drops in your possession and it's all yours. And you know that you've worked really hard for this.
You didn't. No. I was on board up until he said you worked really hard for it. That's horseshit. You did not work hard for RNG to give you something. All right. So there's a reason games have, like, you know, fun and flair, and you play them for a long time to grind for something that you know you'll eventually get. The best is when you know that you can work on something and get something. You don't earn anything if it's random. It was just through attrition that you got that item. And to me, that feels the opposite of feeling rewarding. It feels like dumb luck, and it sucks that I know, or that some players know, that they could play an entire season and never see that item. Now, I'm not saying that we should increase drop rates or whatever. We need to let it play out and see how it goes, and we need to see how build defining these items are, how broken they are, or just how fun they are to play with before you decide how mandatory they are that everybody can at least try to have access to them. You do need something to chase. You do need like some sort of unicorn in the game, but trying to say that you earned something or you feel a sense of earning something because it took you 500 hours to get a drop that somebody else got in hour 50 is not the same thing. You didn't earn anything. So if you're going to do these things and you're going to try to make like unicorns for people to chase, that's fine. But don't do it as a way to prolong gameplay. Don't think that it's a good gameplay mechanic, because it's not. And don't think that it is a good sort of experience for the bulk of your players, because it's also not. And definitely don't think that you earned something because, yeah, the dice rolled snake eyes for you and they rolled double sixes for everybody else for 5,000 rolls.
So, yeah, I think that they should not adjust current drop rates. I think it would be an absolute mistake.
I'm fine with the current drop rates as long as they're not weighted, okay? You cannot have shitty drop rates and uneven weighting, because that isn't fair. If you're going to say that there is a 1 in 500 gear drop, right, is going to be a unique. Okay, fair. And then there's 10 uniques that it can be, but it's heavily weighed to where there's a 70% chance you're going to get one of 2 uniques. And then out of the other ones, there's a 1% chance you're going to get one of the rare uniques. And there's a 1 in 3 chance that you're going to get the worst roll of that. That doesn't work for me. So if you're going to leave the drop rate low, then you need to normalize what can drop. Because I'm tired of, I have 7 uniques on my main, and out of those, there are 3 separate uniques, and one of them I got from the campaign. So out of all of my uniques that have dropped, I've had 2 uniques drop that were different. Everything else is, do you know what I mean?
Because I think it would also kill the game. Essentially, people would end up being like, this game is no fun. I have everything. I'm going to just quit now.
See, he's equating fun with having everything. And having everything is not necessarily fun. And the bulk of your gamers don't need to have everything to have fun.
Purpose to really playing the end game right now, seeking out those rare items. All right, we got to talk about this discussion right here. It says, why damage buckets exist. This is fascinating. It says, I've been trying to make different builds to the sorcerer, but because how the damage buckets work, all builds are so similar. Now, before I move on, you guys can Google damage buckets, but yeah, the way...
Or you can watch my video. I made a video on damage buckets, and it will be up there. And it's doing okay on YouTube, but it explains it. And pretty much what it means is there's only a handful of damage buckets that are important and that you need to build into them. Damage buckets are going to exist because if not, damage is going to scale out of control. So they had to group them up into certain buckets. That way damage doesn't scale out of control. And not all buckets are created equal. That's why everybody does vulnerable, crit, and overpowered if you can build into it. Those are the 3 multiplicative major buckets that everybody deals with.
Check this out right here. This is interesting. This post shows a skill diversity or lack thereof. Top SC skill statistics, according to d4armory.io, where a lot of players were able to submit what they were currently using.
It doesn't matter. This is unimportant. So I'm going to cut in right here, and then we're going to cut out pretty much everything that happens after this. This is completely unimportant because this is player-submitted data, and this isn't aggregate data drawn from the game. So the only data on here, so like tracked players, 593 barbarians. So these are going to be the type of people that already go to these websites to look for sort of like what are the best builds, what are the best ways to play, what's most meta. And this isn't aggregate data pulled from the game. So this data is completely worthless trying to say sort of what skills are being used the most. It's irrelevant.
Kind of curious to see what they do. All right, so we're going to talk about
it's so
this
bad
right here as well. Check it out. It says, would be nice if they implemented this Diablo 3 feature in Diablo 4 as well. And as you can see, when you're enchanting in Diablo 3, it says display possible replacement.
That needs to be why this is not in the game right now is dumb as shit. There's so many quality of life things that they could have took from Diablo 3 and brought to Diablo 4 that it's dumb that they didn't do it. We saw the same shit, Destiny 2, going from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. There was like so many things that were good quality of life things in Destiny 1 that didn't make it into vanilla Destiny 2. And I don't know why, other than so the team could score easy W's when they re-added them later. So something as stupid as this is going to look like a big W when they add it into the game because it's something that should have been there from the start and that everybody's going to be clamoring for. So when they do add it, everybody's going to be like, yay, they added it. But realistically, it should have been there, but it's just an easy W for their team.
Properties, and people are talking about this. You scroll down here, it says, can't understand why they didn't implement it. It was a great...
Oh, yeah, the reroll costs are fucking dumb in Diablo 4. Like, you reroll like 2 times and it starts costing 10 mil.
Feature in Diablo 3, especially with how high the reroll costs are. Yeah, it kind of perplexes me that they've done this. And I think that this is one of those quality of life adjustments that Diablo 3 had that they need to add into Diablo 4 for sure. All right, so yeah, a lot of you guys are playing Helltide, so I wanted to mention this as well. We have an updated Helltide map with recommended farming zones guide inside. So this is extremely useful, kind of pinpoints areas that you can specifically tackle to really make use.
Hey, that's a cool thing, right? So like that was useful. We need to see more of that. We might even try to put out like a short or something on that, kind of showing that map and linking to it, because that's a really good map if you're going to be in a Helltide. Because monster density sucks so bad in Helltides, that something like that chart would be a great thing for people to have access to. I don't know. You guys have to let me know what you think. Was there any news in here that was new to you, or was this all stuff you had already known? We are going to cut a lot of this out because I kind of rambled for a little bit. But I do want to thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. If you are looking for more Diablo 4 content, you can always check our giant backlog of videos. We have tons of information there for you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching this video. And as always, have a great day.